The Shadow case was released in September of 2015, along with the introduction of the new Shadow daggers, which can only be dropped in this and the Spectrum case, with different finishes being found in both cases. This was the first time that Valve announced the contents of a case before release, inviting the community to develop for the collection and listing out guidelines and advice on how to be included. As you'll soon find out, it certainly influenced some of the submissions. The deadline for this was 11 days before its release. Poignant Envy created this Mag 7 Cobalt core. Formerly known as Mircene and part of a 4-item collection of the same name, was his first attempt at sci-fi, whilst retaining the good bits of rustic and old school designs. He experimented quite a bit on the colour combo and also on the heavy texture, the stages of which you can see here, which nicely shows the steps that went into developing the bulk of the design. The Mach 10 Rangeen by PTP was inspired by painted trucks from India and Pakistan. All in all, this project went as planned, with no real problems. The description reads, "Watch your enemies say, who do I have to shoot to get one of those? Just hope they don't pick you." The Scar 20 Green Marine by PTP also went as planned, with no unexpected roadblocks. He says that this is the PMAR 20, which stands for Peacemaker Auto Rifle Model 20. It's a lighter weight version of the Scar 20, sacrificing ruggedness for improved speed. And although PTP makes these skins look easy, he does say that for everyone he finishes, there are plenty of failures, a process he says is common among the few workshoppers that he knows. He has to get hyped about a design to have the motivation to push through with it. It's common for him to spend a few days just thinking about a concept before he starts it for real. They usually turn out about 70% as he expected. The design is rigid, but the colours are flexible, so he posts 3 different designs and decides which one he likes most. Sometimes designs don't work well with more than just the base colour, and some work best in black and white, so he leaves them that way, like this one. The XM1014 Scumbria by G99 Factory says that he was in the right place at the right time with this design. He tries to make skins for less popular weapons, which makes sense because fewer ideas are taken. This one was designed after a fish and used the shiny patina finish to make it look like slippery, beautiful scales. Indeed, he took the texture right off the picture of a fish, so you can be sure that this is as close to the real thing as you'll ever want to get. The Famas Survivor Z by Smuck SS and IGWT Menace was made back in 2015 when there weren't so many battle-scarred looking skins in game or on the workshop, so he and his friend decided to do it. The first sketch was just some scratches and red lines, which looked flat, but after some thought he made them into claw scratches until the design was finished. The notification that it was to be added to the game came through at 6 AM. He couldn't believe it and can't describe the feeling, but loved calling IGWT Menace to let him know the good news. It started off as just something he enjoyed doing, as something to do when he got home in the evenings, together with a few people on Google Hangouts, sharing designs and working together, though we can certainly say that getting it included has changed his life. The Glock Wraiths by Gaunt really relied on the gunsmith finish to try and make it appear 3D. This is no easy task, not even with the newer finish star. He had to add fake depth to the engraving, changing just the colour and specular maps. It's certainly a very effective result, which he would love to use on his older designs from before the finish was added to the workshop. The dual Berettas Dueling Dragons by the Honey Badger were the first of his dragon skins and had a rollercoaster of a development cycle, which he constructed rather quickly. But he didn't just want to settle for that, so he added a dragon to the design which would only appear as the design became more worn. The creature itself only appears in the alpha map, as the underlying texture has a higher Fong exponent than could be achieved using the custom finish. He says that the gunsmith finish would have helped with this, but the way he's done it means that the more worn the skin is, the clearer the line work becomes, at the expense of a darker and dirtier grip. The MP7 Special Delivery by Coridium was designed to be a lower grade spec skin, with the sandy palette of dust and mirage in mind. He looked to older printing techniques, the sort you find on banknotes, where shading and shape is created by impressive fine line work. Sadly, fine lines don't work well on gun skins due to their distance from the camera and texture resolution, so he was careful to come up with a design that worked at all distances. He wanted to combine this with classified military documents, the sort you'd see in movies. It took him many failed attempts until he arrived at the design that you can see today. Indeed, the original name for this weapon was classified before it was changed. The reason for the MP7 design was once again because Valve had disclosed that they were looking for a military spec MP7 finish, which he felt this design fitted nicely. The M249 Nebula Crusader by Zafk is the latest of her designs to be accepted, and whilst the older ones typically depicted hand-drawn creatures, this one shows an old arcade machine. She created a game herself to avoid copyright infringement, complete with its own logos and characters. The bolts become visible as it gets worn, and the colours fade, but the design itself remains. Here's a time-lapse of a picture from it being made. I like how the StatTrack model has score written above it, completing the theme. The Galil Stone Cold by ClegFX is a striking blue and black design, originally called Nightwing. He decided that he wanted to make a blue gun that looked real whilst including some graphical elements. It uses the flexible gunsmith design and wears convincingly while still retaining the black and blue colour scheme, regardless of wear level. The P250 Wingshot was made by Slimeface because he wanted to try making a custom design with the difficult hydrographic finish, which wasn't something that had been done much at the time. It was inspired by Darksiders, a role-playing hack-and-slash game released back in 2010. Since then he's made it into a series, now with 7 skins, most added not long ago. There wasn't a lot to say about the G3SG1 Flux by Ego Death. It's certainly a very nice shiny gun with a rare colour palette, and it's one of 3 that he has released, all using the same gun, but one with red, one with purple, and one with a metallic blue and a red frame. Makes me wonder what goes into Valve's decision over which one to include. When he isn't working on skins like the SSG08 Big Iron, Millennia designs models in his spare time and typically starts the design of his skins in 3D rather than the usual 2D, relying heavily on the sort of chunky cutouts that you see a lot on industrial equipment. You can see this over on the workshop page, where he details the 3D work that went into the design of this model. It's the 3rd weapon in his Technicality weapon series. This design in particular he says was heavily inspired by the fighters and bombers that you can see here. The AK-47 Frontside Misty by 2Der was originally named Winter Sport and is part of a 5-skin collection of the same name. He showcases the weapon on Office, which I suspect was a major influence in the making of this skin style, which features almost glowing neon blue strips to it. The USP-S Kill Confirmed by Tuna Melt is the result of 6 months of testing and experimentation. The hand-drawn design uses the custom paint job finish and is part of a 3-weapon collection known as the Kill Confirmed collection, in case you'd like to see more weapons using this design. He was inspired by a facial anatomy course with Scott Eaton and the work of God Machine. It started as a vector illustration, but he ultimately scrapped that and moved towards a hand-painted style. Valve called for a classified USP-S skin for this case, and he designed it with that in mind. Since then, he has been asked to design a low violence version, which involved redesigning the skull. You can see that he turned it into a robotic head, adding a bit more blue to the design in the process. The M4A1S Golden Coil by Kitsch.SB was his first serious attempt at making detailed skins. Previous efforts he dismissed as dabbling and wanted to up his game with this one. Its working title was Snake Garden, which he released as Snakebite, which Valve then changed to Golden Coil. He tried a few colour options, but gold on a dark base colour was the most popular by far. He started work on the collection in December of 2014 and released skins over the next half year. Here you can see some of the elements of the weapon in an exclusive behind the scenes look. His inspirations were a mix of Renaissance art, architecture and design, as well as other workshop submissions, namely the Cartel and Coridium's Black Gold. Kitsch wanted to explore the idea of a snake, choosing sneaky weapons such as the USP-S and M4A1S. His USP-S was featured on McSkillet's Best of Workshop video. It was the first time he had had his skin shown, and he was very thankful of it. Sadly, after all this he reread Valve's FAQ and realised that they had a policy on gold weapons, and his heart sunk. He made copper versions of them and continued to update and to maintain the collection, which he thinks helped Valve to notice his skins until this one was chosen. He considers himself to be very lucky and is thankful for the support that the community has given him.